Hello and welcome to Pursuit 365 Spirituality Show. I'm your host, Rani Sanghera, psychedelic guiding coach, yoga instructor, and somatic body healer. Today, my next guest is Doug Stiles. He is an elementary school teacher and a yoga instructor. Hi, Doug. It's nice to have you on the show.
Hey, Ronnie, thanks for having me.
No problem. Why don't we begin by you telling us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, I've been in education for over 20 years now. Started as a substitute teacher down in Oakland, California, which evolved into a special ed master's, which then evolved into another master's from UC Berkeley from their principal program called the Principal Leadership Institute. And just had a big passion for working with students, specifically with at-risk youth. It just led me to all of the different aspects of education, from being a special educator to an administrator. Now I'm back in the classroom, so I've kind of gone full circle. And just loving working with kids every day, loving my summers off. So here we are in July. Just getting this time to rest and recover, and just awesome. Love it. But I moved up here to Sunshine Coast. Just before COVID, 2019. Absolutely love it here. I feel like we've found our heaven. We just get to wake up every morning and we're in the woods and we're 5 minutes from the beach and a 2-minute walk to work. And I just couldn't ask for better days right now. So.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey into yoga. Tell me what led you on that path.
Oh, wow. So I grew up just outside of Los Angeles, huge, massive city, and then went to university in the Bay Area, so another big city, and then moved to Vancouver, another huge city, and then found myself in this tiny little 1,200 person hamlet called the Roberts Creek on the Sunshine Coast. And wouldn't you know it, there's a yoga teacher training program here. And not only that, it's a very unique program in that there's still the master yogi still alive, Amrit Desai. He's an amazing human being, sent here in the 70s by his teacher, and just said, spread yoga into the West. And, that Roberts Creek, we kind of just ended up here. We just landed in Roberts Creek and discovered this cool little yoga studio, Yoga by the Sea, popped into a few classes. Next thing you know, my wife's taking the 200 hour. She just fell in love with yoga all over again. Then she took the 300 hour, and I watched the transformation happening to her every day. Every class she would go to, there's something new, and and I was like, man, I really want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that energy. I was really drawn to it. Just as we were drawn to Roberts Creek, I was drawn into that practice of yoga and spirituality. And man, it changed me. It opened my awareness to so much. I remember leaving the 300 hour and driving down to Washington, and I'll never forget this experience. I'm in a drive-through, and I'm just like so filled with happiness and love, and I sent an email, a text message back to my teacher right afterwards, and I'm like, man, Hasu, I don't know what's going on, but everybody in Washington is just so happy. They're so loving. Even I went to get fast food, they were so kind to me. She's like, Doug, it's not them that's changed, it's you that's changed. For me, that was like a big revelation on how much control we ourselves have of the reality in which we're living in that experience. And for me, that's what it's really supported my mental health, and in terms of just being here now and just being to appreciate these moments that we get to live in, and waking up and seeing just how grateful I am to be where I am, and the family that I have, and the experiences that I get to have every day.
Beautiful. What would you say was the biggest change that you saw in yourself?
Well, I'm kind of on this interesting rebound right now of having lots of energy thrown at me at the end of the school year. As a teacher, especially as a grade 7 teacher, June is just like this massive tsunami. It's like wave after wave after wave of big events and big experiences, and you just have to have the energy really up. And so now it's kind of like that energy's done. And for me, what yoga has brought to my life is getting to see all that, and like, wow, like it's great to be in all of that and get to enjoy all of it, but then being able to retreat back into myself. And that's kind of where I am right now in this day 5 of being not in school. My family's away. I'm kind of just all on me and just getting to retreat back into my body, and getting to feel all of those things. And for me, I think that's the biggest thing that yoga and spirituality has done, is getting to feel. I'm the youngest of 4 boys. Grew up in a big, athletic, male-driven family,
Mm-hmm.
and emotions weren't exactly on the forefront of conversations in our family. It was a lot of on the surface. And so I think the biggest thing for yoga and spirituality has brought to me is just being able to feel, and being okay with the hard feelings, and not everything's going to be roses and rainbows and unicorns all the time. And those are great, don't get me wrong, but life's going to throw you a lot of tough experiences and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of heartache. And having the tools that I've learned these last 4 years to feel those feelings has really helped me. And it's helped get the pain, because I carry a lot, and this is definitely what I've noticed lately, is I
Mm-hmm.
carry a lot of my emotions in my body, and it comes out as physical pain when I get really stressed out.
Yeah.
3 times I had to do report cards this year. 3 times I had massive strain in my upper back, and
Right.
it happens like clockwork. And it's like, so I'm starting to see those patterns in my life, and I'm starting to be able to take proactive measures to minimize the amount of effect it's having on my body. So yeah, I'm still gonna have these feelings. I'm just gonna have these heartaches, and I have this pain, but I'm able to kind of let it go a lot faster. And hopefully, I'll get to a point where I'm not experiencing that pain. I'm seeing it, I'm writing it, and then it's gone
Then
immediately.
it's gone. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have a long ways to go before I'm there. That's okay.
So let's talk a little bit about your practices and bringing them into the classroom, and concepts of mindfulness and meditation. Do you use that in your classroom with your students?
Oh, every single day. Yeah, it's the first thing on the shape of our day every single day. So we do, whether we get to it or not, that's another story. I'd say of the 5 days of the week, at least 4 days of the week, we start our day with a daily calm. And that's just the first 20 to 30 minutes of the day. We have a guided meditation that we listen to. There's always a theme to it. And so I'll have the kids write in their journal what the theme is. And then there's always a spot for them to reflect. And there's never it's never an assignment. I'm never going to grade them on it. I don't check their punctuation or call them on anything like that. It's just like whatever came up for you during that 12-minute experience, let that come out in your journal.
Mm.
And it's really cool because it frees a lot of them up. The kids that aren't that great at spelling, they don't really care about that anymore. It releases a lot of that mental part that we get hung up on, especially at this grade, at 11, 12, 13 years old. In the word, they're just living in their mind all the time. So it just kind of gives them permission to just chill out. And, the days I've noticed, the days that we don't do it, oh gosh, there's such a dramatic difference in how just the day flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, I love that you're doing the journaling afterwards. It just gives them, and that you're not marking it. Do you read their journals?
I read it every single day. And
You,
at a minimum, I'll put a happy face.
yeah.
But I'll never there's never any judgmental
Right.
back. It's not like, why would you do this? Why are you thinking that? It's just like, it's always just like so much love coming back. And sometimes like it blows my daughter, who's going into grade 6, so she could potentially be in my class next year. She's like, Dad, they write all that to you and they just let you read it like they're basically just writing their journal to you, and they just let you read your journal every day. I'm like, yes, they really love you, like to allow you in like that at that age. That's a big deal. So for me, like that's probably one of the most sacred things that I hold for those students is those daily calm journals. Like at the end of the year when they're trying to like, can I throw these away? I'm like, no, don't throw them away. Like, I don't want these later. Trust me.
That's yeah. So I love that they've got an outlet that they can just write and not be like, is this good enough? And what am I going to get graded on? It's really just for them. It's
Yeah,
really just for them. Do you ever have them read them at the end of the year? Like go back and reflect what life was like at
always.
the beginning and then
Yeah,
what's
at the
happening?
end of every month, we actually that's part of our end of the month cleanup process. Is like,
Yeah.
okay, go and identify 3 of your reflections, and then dig a little bit deeper. Like maybe what was happening in that day, or just so they have an opportunity to go back and see it again, and like, wow,
Mm.
because I think that's some of their biggest nuggets of like wisdom that they gain from it is like, wow, like maybe I was just having a bad day, and like I don't even feel that anymore, and like for them, I think it's so cool that the thing that I've noticed is for them to start making connections between what's going on up here and how they're actually feeling.
Mhm.
For them, they think that what's happening up here, this is their reality, right? It's like this
Right.
is who I am. It's like one reflection after another. They start unpacking all that. Like, wow, like that's not actually who I am because I'm not thinking that same way that I did 3 weeks ago when I wrote this journal, and I don't have those same feelings anymore. So it's like it's so fun to be part of their process
Right.
of seeing them for bigger than who they are.
That's great. I love that you're doing that. I think it's so important to have that in the education system. I teach 3 to 5 year olds, which is a whole other ballgame.
It
Teaching
isn't.
them yoga is
I'm finding out that the kindergarten and grade 7 are so similar. It's scary.
it's
Kindergarten
like
and grade
herding kittens sometimes.
7, oh my gosh, their brains are so similar.
But I mean it really it helps them. It helps to begin them to self-regulate and calm down their nervous systems. So I think it's a beautiful practice, especially when they're starting their days with that.
Yeah,
Because we don't know what their home lives are like and we don't know what their mornings are like. And to be able to have that little bit of outlet to have that time for themselves
that's
is
it.
really, really important. And you're teaching them a really important skill.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's really
coming to me every day that are coming from completely different backgrounds, different cultures, different home lives, different expectations and what school's like. And so honestly, this is a kindergarten model. Like this is what they do in K. They'd have a soft landing every day. So I'm like, why do we have to do anything different? Why do we have to start the day with math or with spelling or like just drill them? Let's just start slow. Let's kind of like ease our way into this day. And man, like I said, the days where we don't have it, it is a dramatic difference in the classroom and then just how the kids feel by 2 o'clock. They don't have anything left in the tank by 2 o'clock. And whereas the days where we do the meditation, there's still a little bit of fire left in them, a little bit of energy. And so,
Mhm.
yeah,
Do you ever just stop them in that time of the day and say, "Hey, we might meditate now, I think."
I tried that and didn't really go over well.
Didn't work.
It, little body breaks. Like, we're so fortunate to be right connected into the woods. So literally the backdrop of our school goes right into a forest. So
Mhm.
rather than doing a meditation, we'll do a short little a walking meditation. So we'll walk them through the forest and do even if it's a 7 or 8 minute little walk at the end of the day, it's just kind of like cool. It's like it almost like leave some of that negative energy behind.
Yeah.
Of that about trees. They just kind of like grab that energy, like, oh, cool, you don't need that anymore. I got that. And so it's like you just feel so much cleaner when you're done.
Yeah, and there are so many benefits to forest bathing that they have now studies now show just walking in the forest for even just 5 to 10 minutes can be incredibly healing and rejuvenating for you. So,
Absolutely.
hmm so do you teach yoga in the class, or what other practices are you bringing in with you?
Yeah, so part of grade 7 in their social studies curriculum is on ancient civilizations. So I kind of sneak it into that section right there, and I always start that unit doing a yoga unit. So we'll go through some of the major gods and some of the deities, and then we'll go through the eightfold eight path, eight limbs. And then what else do we do? Oh, we get into a little bit of mantra. So we start to talk to them about Om and what that means because they have so many misperceptions and what does it mean to own, and they get all weird. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. And so it's fun to like start them with just doing the little bumblebee, and so to see them, like, their heads literally just blow off because they're like, everything that I was just thinking about, I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm like, that's the power of this. It's like, so just to see the magic in them, that's what I this because it's like they're in grade 7. They've done all this stuff in elementary school. They've been there and done that. So to give them something new like this, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to see how it. And I haven't had many issues. I've had a couple parents that have had some concerns, but I have a pretty good reputation in the community. So I think the parents know that that I got a big heart and I got nothing but love for the kids. And so if they ever do have issues, we've had one-on-one conversations, and I've never had anything go beyond that. So
Yeah. I think that kind of just leads into my next question is how do you bring yoga in and still be inclusive of children's belief systems at home? Have you run into anything like that?
well, this year I had one family that was really religious, very Christian, and they were pretty apprehensive about their child going through that unit. But I just checked in with him quite a bit, and I would engage him in the conversations as much as possible. Um, yeah, I think that's the kicker is as long as you're keeping them engaged and you're checking in. And it's like the second I could see him almost checking out, I would have to re-engage him. And a lot of the people that I listen to, they incorporate Christianity into their spiritual talks as it is. So I can kind of drop in a little bit of nugget about how Jesus was a yogi or something like that, and they're like, "Wait, what? I didn't know that." And so it kind of just sparks deeper conversations. And I actually had that family. They came and talked to me about a conversation that they had with their son at the dinner table. Like, we actually didn't know that Jesus was a yogi. We went, and when we heard that, we went and investigated a little bit more with him, and we found that all these really cool teachings that he had. I'm like, all right. So it's kind of fun to see how it spreads down, and it opens up not only the kids but some of the families, whatever their taboo with yoga or whatever their feelings that they thought they had. So
Yeah, there is a course that they offer through the Amrit Institute called the Christ Consciousness,
yeah.
where it talks about yoga and Jesus, and then the work, how similar everything is, and how he was a yogi, how Jesus was a yogi. So beautiful. Do you think you can share some of the positive results you've seen from your children? Like, is there any one specific student where
Oh,
maybe you're having trouble with, and then
it's actually right here. Give me one second. I got it right on my fridge. That's how important it is to me to keep it on my magnet on the fridge. Okay, I'm gonna edit out the name
Yes, please.
because that's important. But my daughter was in Mr. Styles' class last year. It was her grade 7 year. As you know, she struggled a lot the last couple of years at elementary school. I really appreciate all the support she received with the various members of the faculty. As time has gone on, she has moved on to high school. One thing has come crystal clear to me: Mr. Styles has had an enormous impact on her. She stated a number of times that she didn't feel she would have made it through school last year without him. He taught the entire class about ways to manage emotions, mitigate stress, and make healthy choices. He introduced them to a little yoga, breathing techniques, and meditation. She's using these tools as she navigates the complicated world of being a teenager. Beyond that, Doug was caring and sensitive to her each day. He was a trusted ally to her when she felt she had no one. According to her, he made sure to have some connection with her each day. Some days that was the only connection she had while at school. He was in her life. He was her lifeline there. He allowed her the space and understanding for her challenges and encouraged her to participate and be part of the group when she could. This approach has supported her and enabled her to complete the year and come out stronger on the other side. This year, she's doing so much better. She feels she would not be where she is today without Mr. Styles. Taking a child from a place of threatening suicide to feeling loved and connected is not an easy thing to do. Doug Stiles played a key role in this. I would like this to be on record. He is a wonderful teacher and mentor, an asset to our community and our school. I am forever thankful to him. I mean, literally, that stays on my fridge, and I see it every day. It means so much. And that's the power of this work that I get to do every day. Is a lot of times I don't even know the impact that it's happening in the moment, but these little reminders I get every now and then, it's like, whew, it just brings me to tears, man. It's like this, just like, so happy, found why I'm supposed to be here on this planet, and it's like just awesome.
That's incredible. I love that you are teaching them all of these tools, that breathwork is coming in, and spirituality on a level that's inclusive for all the children. Because when we're going through these stages of life, and we've all been teenagers before, these are some of our most emotionally charged years that we will have, and no one taught us how to calm down.
Yeah.
No one taught us how to take a breath. No one taught us how to manage our emotions and how to move through them, how to be resilient. And so it's the work that you're doing is incredibly important. I just, I applaud you for that. I think it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can you share with us about bringing yoga practices, mindfulness practices into your classroom? Does anything else come to mind for you?
Well, after I got this email from this child's mom, it kind of gave me the idea of doing a yoga for teens class. And that's kind of my next steps, is taking this work and continuing on that work as those students I'm working with in grade 7 are moving on to grade 8 and 9 and 10 and onward. It's like, I don't want to just throw them out into the community without a safety net. So I want to provide this community, like, where they can come back, maybe bring a friend, or just have this space where that it's almost like I still see you, like I'm still here, like I'm not done with you. It's like, it's almost a way for them to know that I'm always connected to them.
Yeah.
And they always have a space to come that's always going to be love. It's always going to be, no judgments, and, just whatever you need. So that's kind of
Have you ever thought about expanding your program? I know that you have it in your classroom, but what if you were doing a lunchtime or an after school program, especially during exam time? I feel like that children really need that help during exam time.
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot. I thought about actually starting to incorporate some pro Ds for the teachers on the Sunshine Coast. We got a couple thousand teachers that are going through the same things that I go through, and then a lot of them don't have the skills and the tools to help them unpack what's going on in their bodies. So I'm sure a lot of them, like I used to do, spend their entire summer recovering and trying to figure out what the heck just happened to me. Whereas I'm like now on day 5 and ready to go. I'm like rejuvenated and ready to go on hikes and get my life going back again. And it's just like, yeah, like I want to start helping other teachers out with that too.
So this practice has really helped you be a better teacher and not get burnt out.
I don't even think it's anything being a better teacher. I think it's just, I wouldn't say a better human, but it's taking a step out of my own head, kind of just putting gratitude and love at the forefront of all of it. And I think once people start doing that, all the little stuff and it doesn't really matter the situation you're in your life. If you're putting love and gratitude at the forefront of it, there's really nothing else that matters. Doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, doesn't matter, none of that. It's like, doesn't really matter.
Well, since you've incorporated this in your classroom, we talked about the student that you have helped with some personal issues, but have you also seen an increase in academic performance?
Absolutely. I mean, when you can release kids from their own mind and just let them be free, like the potential is limitless. It's so to see kids that start the year with all of these fears and can't go in front of a classroom. I had one student who wouldn't present, not even to me, not let alone getting in front of the class, but by the end of the year was emceeing an assembly in front of the whole school. So it's like just seeing this growth and
Hmm.
potential that these little human beings have when they come into the school, and then seeing where they are by the end of the year. I mean, I had a couple of students this year who had was fortunate to have loop, so I had them for the second year, and just oh my goodness, they're just like completely different human beings. I loved it. So cool.
So we've noticed an impact on mental health. We've noticed an impact on academics. What about on behavioral issues?
Oh man. I like this is where I think every grade 4 teacher really needs to have this, because that's when a lot of the big behaviors start to surface.
Hmm.
I showed my grade 4 teachers the kids that they had in grade 4 this year in grade 7. It's night and day. Because they start to own their own behavior, and it starts to, I don't know, and maybe it's just this age too. They're starting to develop and starting to mature a little bit, and a lot of that mischievous behavior starts to dwindle a little bit, and they start to like, okay, I gotta start taking this a little bit more seriously. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm seeing huge improvements in academic, reduction in mental health issues, big reduction in behavior. I mean, there's still grade 7 kids. Don't get me wrong. It's
Of course.
still really challenging class in June, especially. But you know, it's all good. It's fun.
Yeah, I think too when you're doing that work together, and we've spoken about this before, is you're coming with a certain energetic level. You're coming with a certain energy or vibration, and you're bringing that into your classroom. And then the children are also feeling that, and they're going to start to move in a way that is in alignment to your energetic vibration. And then as a group, they will start, the more of them start dropping in like that, the others start to follow suit. And it also is community,
Yeah,
you know.
100%. Yeah, like I said, I had some really strong leaders in my class this year, and once they were on board, all the little shenanigans and the behaviors, they kind of just went down because the leaders in the room didn't put up with it. And
Right.
that's where I find is when I'm not the one having to police them when they're doing it themselves, the whole harmony of the room, it just, like you said, just lifts up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So let's talk a little bit about spirituality and your own life. How do you feel that it has impacted? You do have children, and so how has it impacted your parenting style? Like, yes, it's impacted your classroom. Now let's talk about bringing that practice into your own home and how it's impacted your relationship with your own children.
yeah, that's a really great point, because I think it's allowed me the space for them to be them without having any kind of preconceived notions on who they needed to be or how they need to act. It's just seeing them for who they are and seeing that light within them and letting them shine, and just doing the best I can to stay out of their way. Honestly, I think that's what this work has done. What do you need? They're both at an age now where I don't really need to parent them that much. It's more about what do you need to be successful, to be happy, and
Mm.
to thrive. Especially my son, who's a lot like me, who keeps a lot of he's very happy and bubbly, and everybody sees that side of him. But there's a lot happening below the surface. And so my job is to keep peeling him out a little bit. Okay, tell me more about that. Tell me how you feeling about this? And
Yeah.
yeah, and so man, like parenting has just been such an amazing experience for me in terms of course, learning about myself. And that's what I think all of this experience of life is, right? It's like we have all these relationships with all these people, but they're all for ourselves, and they're all for us to learn more about ourselves. I learned so much about myself through my relationship with my kids, especially my relationship with my daughter, because it's the hardest. My son's me, and so it's so easy. It's like looking at myself in a mirror. It's like it's not a problem. My daughter, it's me, but the me that it's the weirdest thing to explain, but to see
They
that.
are they are a reflection of
Oh my
ourselves.
god! But it's me that I always wanted to be, but I didn't have not the nice parent, the parent with the skills to allow me to be that person. So there was a lot of resentment that I needed to get away to unpack with my own child, because like who are you? Like, why do you get to be this so self-expressed? And when I was growing up being you, I had to like suppress it all and repress it. And I wasn't given permission to be that expressive.
Hmm.
So like I am so blessed to have a partner who's in this game with me and sees the world the same as I do and has inspired me to take this on and to learn about this and and to be my best self. You know, I'm just very, very grateful to have a partner that sees me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then would you say that your practice has positively influenced your relationship?
Oh, without a doubt. Like I wouldn't have been able to take a 2 week break from my family prior to doing this work. It would have been like I needed to be there. There would have been all these expectations that I felt, but like what I needed in this moment was to rest and recover and to not go on a 3,000 mile vacation and to not be stressed out and to not take on more things. I needed to actually take on less. And that's never been permission that I've given myself in the past.
Right.
So like that for me shows a tremendous growth to be here in my own house for 2 weeks by myself without like having to go reach out for things and fill that void is just like that's why I know I'm growing is that it's yeah to have this quiet and this silence in my house right now and to be okay
Yeah, to sit with yourself.
to sit with myself. It's
It
like
is a hard thing to do to sit with yourself.
it
Which
is
is
one of the
why
hardest.
we keep so busy all the time, right? From one thing to another. And children,
But my
children, children do that all the time. Children are constantly busy, 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 busy. And we as parents in today's society, we are constantly keeping them busy. We've got them in this after school program, that after school program. Then we've got them on doing this and this and this on the weekend. Then they've got camp. They actually have no time to sit
that was the
and be
biggest
with themselves.
had about that morning daily calm time is that they all had such busy lives. They're all doing hockey and baseball and soccer and so many sports and extracurriculars. Is they loved that time of just doing nothing. And I think for a lot of them, that was the biggest hurdle to get over is because their mind is like, this is uncomfortable. I want to be doing something right now. It's like, no, I don't want you to do anything. And if your body gets really, really anxious, just like, just relax and put your energy right here. Put your hands right here and start to feel this right here. And
Yeah.
you don't have to do anything else. And for some, that was the hardest thing in the world. Just giving
Yeah.
them permission to do nothing.
And I think doing nothing is so helpful for a child or being bored or
Yeah.
even being bored to be able to just sit and not have anything planned for you, not have a television, not have a screen,
Yep.
but have that practice of having nothing to do. This is yoga, having nothing to do, not
Yeah.
doing, and this is where their creativity comes in.
Absolutely.
Right? That childhood, that creativity, building neuroplasticity in the brain, coming up with things that they can do when they don't have things planned. Like I
Mm.
think it's such an important thing. And again, with your mindfulness or your meditation in the morning, you're giving them a step towards that.
Absolutely. Yeah. In this world of devices and like constant entertainment, it's like just to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day to unplug. I mean, that's a huge skill to learn
Yeah.
for anybody, let alone 12 years old going into one of the biggest challenges of your life, going into high school. It's like, that's a,
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool deal. And I told the kids that from day one. I was like, there's probably going to be a lot better teachers out there that are going to teach you math or social studies and like but what you're going to get from me is you're going to learn more about yourself. And I was very clear from them from the get-go, like that's my focus for you, is that you know yourself a little bit better, so when you go into high school next year you're like not all spinning wild, because you're going to be, but you have the skills to kind of ease into that a little bit and go into it with a little bit more calm rather than thinking it's going to be a hurricane, you know, because
Right.
yeah.
And then fortunately for them, you're going to have a teen yoga class. So their touchstone as they move forward through high school.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Like I had a couple kids last year. They would come to the teen yoga class. Their moms were in the gentle giant yoga, so it's like a whole wraparound. It was great, It was fun.
That's beautiful. Do you have anything else coming up that you'd like to share with the audience? Do you have I, with Mossy Rock Yoga?
Oh, that amazing wife of mine. She's always got stuff going on. But right now, I mean, it's almost every day something happening in there. There's a men's group happening there on Tuesdays, and then there's an astrology class happening there on some Fridays. We have full moon things happening there. I mean, it's a hopping spot right now. So mossyrockyoga.com, check it out. Gentle Giant Yoga will be kicking up again toward the end of summer. Everything's
That's
going to be
great.
up and running again. Megan's coming back from vacation soon, so her she's got a really cool class, very unique yoga class. I'm sure she'll tell you all about it, but plays record to her classes. So yeah, it's a fun, beautiful spot. So
Amazing. Well, Doug, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your wisdom with us, with bringing spirituality, mindfulness, meditation, and all these beautiful practices to the classroom and the benefits of that. I hope that other teachers watch this and they reach out to you to find out how they can also begin to incorporate these practices into their classes. So thanks again. Thank you so much for being here.
thanks, Ronnie. Appreciate you having me on today.
Awesome. And to the audience, we'll see you in the next episode.